Now, this was a two-stage prophecy. Isaiah chapter 6, 1-3 was before the cross, after we slain. But the fourth part came to signify me where I would be born. Yeah. This is where God called me up between the sun, earth and the sun, and he talked to me and told me about my transgression after he sent a man after me when I worked for a local railroad in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and he told me God sent him after me. Had worked there for 20 plus years, and I told him when I got tired of him annoying me and forgot I had made a promise to God when I was very young, and I won't go through that. And I was a hard-working man and had worked hard all my life. And what happened was I got tired of this minister annoying me, telling me that God sent him out to me. He told me that God sent him out to me. He knew I didn't want him to bother him, but God sent him out to me, and he had to do what God said do. And I told him when I get rid of a God, he'll be the first to know. Well, after that, God told him to turn my hedges around from around me. I had a career in an injury, became injured on the job. The February 2004, and I became addicted to cocaine, but made me a man of unclean lips, and I began to dwell among people, but to be a secure blanket who had unclean lips, who did the same thing. In other words, he was letting us know that where I was going to be born at, the nation upon which I was going to be born was a drug infested nation. It was created in such a way to give to the people so they couldn't think, so they could be corpse living upon the face of earth, that they couldn't turn back to God because of their addiction. They would be unfruitful. They would be just like the basket of pigs, which was so bad and they never did turn back. This is what God saw they were doing the world. They was going to take the world and try to use this miracle drug as a double-edged sword to come in at once. So we in here trying to change the world for peace. And once they get in there and change that, they take and make the people helpless by bringing in cocaine and drugs, giving them a substance that causes them to be unfruitful. In other words, what he was trying to do, he was trying to destroy the minds of the whole entire world by investing the whole world with cocaine and drugs, do something to impair their mind where they couldn't think on their own, where they go to a point of no return, where they couldn't return back to God. This is the same thing where they're going in Afghanistan. They already set the mindset that those people's over there doing drugs in Afghanistan. There's no way they can be doing drugs, and they fighting hard as they is now. It's impossible. Drug addict is not going to fight that hard by trying to plant the seed that they're drug addicted. And if they can get in there, then they'll bring the drugs in here. The same way it is about Iraq. God knew when he brought me here, showed me what they were doing to our people after we had served them all these years as slavery. And to pay us back, they addicted our people out of malice. And it was the FBI's and the CIA. They alleged on the news that the FBI let so many thousand pounds of cocaine got on the streets, and they went to black people. They said this here. I didn't say it. I heard it on the news. Now, God said he saw this. The part is they didn't have any natural resource to get the crude oil from God's people. They could only sell weapons of mass destruction, but sooner or later you're going to run out of that. But so what they had to do to create a situation where a man would curse God, that way God would tear the hedge out around them, and they would destroy the whole world, take over the whole world, if God didn't move upon this earth and do something. So what God is getting ready to do now is turn every last one of us over into this evil man. While we sit back and watching and looking at him tear down God's house, trying his best to destroy it, and they are the one that's going to bring cocaine over there and to contaminate their minds because they need the crude oil. This is where we're going with this here. And this is why God is going to kill our food chain. So this is where. So when I came back to be born, I came back as a black prophet. They tried to exterminate me, and it was I who went up and talked to God and asked. God called me up and he spoke to me. This is where it's concluded this here at here. This is where I sit and say, this is the reason I'm talking daily on this here, to try to get this out there, let people know. And they know they only have a short time. That's the reason it's hasty to get more troops over there in Afghanistan. They is hasty to inflate the war in Iraq and all over the world. They is hasty trying to get to Iran. They is hasty, and they're not going to stop there because when one lie is told, they're going to come back and tell another lie and put somebody else in. This is what's going to happen because it's Bible prophecy that they will not stop. They will get Saudi Arabia. They're going to get Egypt. They're even going to get Israel in there. It tells you that in chapter 11, Daniel chapter 11, what nation they're going to get. I'm sitting up here telling you because God brought me from the beginning of time, and when He brought me here, this put me in part of Bible prophecy. This way it showed you they firebombed my house in the year of 1997. January at Pine Bluff. Through the window, firebomb. This caused the doorpost to move. The firebomb, he said, was full of smoke. The house was filled with smoke of him that cried. It was I who was caught up between the heavens and the earth. And it was I who cried to God, and I said, I know you did. It wasn't you who walked away from me. It was I who walked away from you. And I was crying, and I said, if you see fit for me not to be a part of your kingdom, I will understand this. And I seriously, I knew that I would say this here. And knowing that these people was going to use this here to try to create a trap for me because they saw who I was, they were going to try to put me in prison. I was now nearing 50 years old. For 50 years and try to lie and say I was a drug trafficker. Trapped me out of my life to get me off the street because of what they found out who I was. And I was looking at what this was done to our peoples. I seen that it was best for me if I ain't no sense in living the rest of my life in their prisons in here, and they lied on me to try to keep me there, and then at the end I go to eternal destruction. So I just wanted to get that part. I got to, would you please withdraw your breath from me? I said, I don't want to live anymore. Heavenly Father, you didn't walk with me. I walked with you. I said, please withdraw your breath from me because I no longer want to live. I don't want my life anymore. And as I cried, and God placed me into a deep sleep, and He called my spirit up out of my body. I was left sitting in my van that late that night as a dead man. And He talked to me and He showed me, and I seen the sadness. He looking at the earth nonstop, and as I descended down, He told me to write His gospel. Don't preach His gospel. But as I came down, I seen so many strange deaths here in the United States of America. It was so many until there was not enough living to bury the dead. People just running, breaking the glass, and walking, breaking the glasses out of vehicles as if they had stopped in place. I guess they had ran out of people. I don't know. But this is where it have taken us. Because your time, as long as the time clock is still ticking, each day it gets shorter and shorter, and the judgment kind of get nearer and nearer. The same as people was focused on that balloon that took its flight, and they assumed that it was a little boy on board, the life of that one child. What is the life of the entire world mean to you today? Should we also be focused on all of the little children today, gain them towards God? Tell them that God has sent a prophet among us. I didn't come here begging for money because I didn't like not in money. I was a condemned man forever. But God saw fit that I know I would not have. I did something God the way I did. I know I would not have saved myself, and I'm speaking from the heart. But yet He found it in His will to sit down and give me one more chance. That's the reason I say I'm not going to turn back. It doesn't matter how big the mountain is, how large, how mighty the foe is. I will not turn back. I want to show you the same grace that God has shown me. Because the road ahead of us lead to our destruction. Each day it gets shorter and shorter. Pray. Please tell somebody else about this.